Here's a YouTube workshop that I ran, and I'll be playing that presentation in just a little bit, is what I've used to generate hundreds of millions of views for my brand and my clients' brands and generate millions of dollars for me and my clients. This has taken me almost a decade, these secrets to uncover, and I'll be sharing them with you in this presentation. We'll talk about the philosophy behind building a successful YouTube channel. We'll talk about how to build a massive personal brand leveraging YouTube. We'll talk about the tactical portion, how to have a killer thumbnail, how to have killer titles, how to have killer ideas, and how to make videos that can essentially go viral. And at the end, we're gonna deep dive into a workshop where you watching it will come up with ideas that you can actually implement and walk away with as soon as next week. And that's probably the most powerful part of this entire workshop. I hope you enjoy. Let's roll it.
You guys excited to learn about YouTube?
Yes.
Okay, just curious, who here is trying to build like a personal brand at some point? Almost every single person. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna start off with, give you guys a little bit about me, the beliefs you're gonna need to actually succeed on a platform like YouTube. We're gonna go into the 8 laws of YouTube domination. Then we'll deep dive into actual YouTube technical stuff. And I'm gonna end it off with monetization. Okay, so how do you actually make money with YouTube? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And the reason why, just to give you guys a little bit of context, the reason why I broke it up like this is even when I work with my clients on YouTube and helping them grow YouTube, the biggest problem I see with a lot of people is they don't understand the mindset it takes to succeed on YouTube. And they get lost in like technical stuff like this, and it doesn't matter. Like I could talk to you about thumbnail strategy and the tactics, and it won't matter if you don't really understand what's going on under the hood, if that makes sense, yeah? Okay, cool. Some of the stuff Bedros touched on, I'll touch on some other stuff there. Cool, with that said, let's kind of jump into it. Okay, so just a little bit about me. I built my own brand on YouTube, and I didn't make it through just viral marketing, kind of like Mr. Beast videos. I love his content, but do you guys know who Mr. Beast is here? If I could just see. Yeah, cool. A bunch of people here know about Mr. Beast. So those are viral videos, but not everybody in here wants to make purely crazy viral content, right? You guys have niches. You guys have something specific you want to become an expert in. And so my brand that I grew is on computer programming. Computer programming is something that's not that sexy, right? Coding, like those letters and numbers on the screen, that's what my girlfriend calls it. She's a pro boxer, and she's like, this stuff bores me to death. That's the stuff that I grew my brand with, and I grew it to over 1 million subscribers. And so I kind of want to share with you guys what I've learned throughout that process. And those things that I've learned here, we then took them and we kind of applied some of those things. I'm helping Bedros grow his brand too, and I'm helping him reach his goal of 1 million subscribers in, I think, 6 months, which is an insane goal. But I mean, he's flying right now, almost 80 to 90,000 subscribers, which I don't take a lot of credit for. Bedros, that's you and the team. You guys are killing it. We took some of those strategies, applied here, and they also work, okay? So I'm gonna take what I've learned myself, what I've used for my clients to get over 110 million views and generate millions of dollars, and I'll share that with you guys. Cool? How those play out. So let's start with beliefs here real quick. So the number one most important belief that I need you guys to have when it comes to crushing it on YouTube is that YouTube works. YouTube isn't just for cute content creators who are trying to make viral cat videos. How I came across even Bedros is I saw a video of him talking about his own stories, or how he was on an airplane and had a fight with somebody, like a jiu-jitsu fight, and he put a rear naked choke on that guy. And then that's how he helped like land that plane eventually. And so for me, when I heard that story, that made me resonate a lot with Bedros. Have you guys ever heard of any Bedros stories and that made you feel like you resonate with him? Right? And so those stories actually help you and build that brand, and that's what actually made me invest in coaching with him. You have the biggest people. Do any of you guys here know Alex Hormozi? Yeah? So Alex Hormozi was making about $100 million a year. That's what he always used to say in his videos. Then he used YouTube to start growing his brand, and he went from making $8 million a month to eventually $13, $15 million per month because he leveraged YouTube. Do you guys know what he sells? Like what his offer is or anything like that? Yeah, all of it says nothing, right? Gym Launch was a thing that he used to sell. Prestige Labs, yep. Sorry, say it again? Acquisition, yes. So that's the main thing that he's selling. And what he does, what he sells, is essentially he buys a part of your company, a minority or majority share. He's building an audience of entrepreneurs. You land on his website. He gets your application. And if he really likes your business or your business is really profitable, he will give you a deal like, hey, I'll take 10% or X% in your business and I'll help you grow. And using that, he's acquiring businesses that a lot of people in Silicon Valley aren't getting access to, right? Like he's getting access to the best businesses, the best entrepreneurs. And he used that to shoot his own network, his own revenue up to over $200 million a year with YouTube, which is kind of insane. If you look at Mr. Beast, he's built a brand, and I don't know if you guys know this, but he was offered $1 billion for his YouTube channel. Some of you guys have probably heard this story on a podcast somewhere. And he ended up turning it down. And his brand, he believes, is worth between $10 to $20 billion, which with the amount of viewership he has, makes sense. Because his subscribers that he has right now is 200 million subscribers. I mean, Elon Musk says, if I die, you can have Twitter. So that's the power of building a brand. Logan Paul is building a $1 billion brand that's competing with Gatorade. You guys have heard of this drink, Prime, or maybe because of Logan Paul you know about this. He's also used that to his YouTube brand to be able to fight Floyd Mayweather. I mean, fighters, that would be their dream. They would die for this. This would be the pinnacle of their career. And he gets to do this because of his brand, or he gets to be in WWE because of his brand. So my point is, it doesn't matter what your goal is. Brand can help you get there. Before I continue, I kind of want it to be a two-way thing because it's a workshop and I like that. So I just want to hear from you guys, like what would be some of your goals you're trying to achieve with your brand? So you can just raise your hand or you could shout it out. Either is fine.
Something with helping with mental health awareness.
Helping with mental health awareness.
Utilizing my platform and my reach with competition and fighting and my
Yeah.
experience with teaching
Yep.
to help with mental health problems.
That's absolutely amazing.
Be into fighting, you know.
So wouldn't that be amazing that one day, if you keep growing your brand, you're also having a podcast with somebody like Mike Tyson, who is also talking about a lot of mental health and how to achieve happiness. That'd be pretty dope, right?
To me, it's about awareness, talking
Yeah.
about the things that, especially men with high profile, or men who are seen as masculine, you know, that we're not supposed to talk about these things. You know,
Yep.
We're supposed to be strong and tough and in that exterior.
Yep.
And kind of turn it around in a way where it's healthy to lean on a shoulder, but
Yeah.
you know, not so much to a point where we're falling apart, but just being there for each other and giving each other a platform to talk.
Beautiful. Absolutely. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, hi.
hi. I have a question. So,
Yep.
we just started for our son, who is 11 years old.
That's amazing.
We created a page for him
Uh-huh.
to coach other kids how to work out, because he grew up in the gym with us, and now he's at this level of coaching other. He actually performs live
Yeah.
on Instagram, and he performs live on homeschooled platforms, because our kids don't go to school.
Yep.
And he trying to build followers for him. But
Uh-huh.
my question would be, is it okay for a young kid to have his own channel, because that's how he started?
Yeah.
And is it okay for him to go live on YouTube? Is that something that we should also start, or just that's what I'm not sure if he
Okay.
should be going live on YouTube?
Okay. Is he doing anything that you feel like crosses a moral compass that you're not okay with?
Oh no, he's always teaching these sessions with us, so we are
Yeah.
on the background, and he's with us. He hasn't started doing anything like completely on his own. He's
Yeah.
teaching the other kids, and they are on Zoom.
Got it.
But we have to download those videos on YouTube in order for us to send the link.
Yep.
So
Okay.
yeah, we wanted to grow the brand for him. That
Mm-hmm.
would be him, because he wants to inspire all the kids around the world.
So
He just said it. Like, I want to inspire every
Right.
single kid, because he is very disciplined kid, and he gets his workout done. Like today, we worked out at
That's
5
amazing.
a.m., 6 a.m. before we got here. And
Yep.
he got up in the morning. He did what he has to do.
Yep.
So we want to build the brand for him. That's one thing, but we also want to build the brand for us, and we have different.
Got it. Okay, so regarding your son, who's 11, and he loves fitness, and he loves sharing that with other people, I personally don't see a problem with having him grow his brand. Like if I was excited about something, I would have loved if my parents put me on and doing it and growing this, because at the end of the day, what he's learning is how to communicate with other people. Like why wouldn't you teach somebody how to communicate? He's getting practice with that. So I personally see nothing wrong with it. I think that would be an amazing avenue for him. So I would definitely do that. But like whether your son, who's an 11-year-old, wants to grow his YouTube for something, whether you as a fighter want to grow it and eventually talk about mental awareness, all that stuff you can achieve with this, okay? And YouTube leads to podcasting. So whenever I say YouTube, you can also synonymously think of it being able to podcast, because if you can make a good video, the audio from that can potentially turn into a podcast. Okay, so I hope that makes sense and I'm not losing anybody there. Cool. Okay, let's keep rocking and rolling. So I've said this already, but if you don't believe YouTube can work for you, you'll never succeed. And so this is why I really want to emphasize this, and I'll go into this more later, okay? So I don't want you guys to be in the mindset of, it's not worth my effort. I have this really nice business here, so I'm not gonna go all in. You have to get rid of that. Cool. Now let's talk about the traits you need to succeed. And so these are some traits that I actually decided to call like nice to have traits. These were initially traits that I thought were necessary. For example, having big accomplishments. So, if you think about what is making Bedros succeed, well, oh yeah, it makes sense. He has $200 million, or he's a crazy entrepreneur. Or you see some other people succeeding on YouTube, and you're like, well, they have crazy accomplishments in their life. That's why they're succeeding. But this is a nice to have. For example, say you're a pro boxer. Well, if you start a channel on boxing, your channel will probably do well. If you're a pro fighter and you start a channel on helping other people become a fighter, you'll probably do well because you have that accomplishment. But it's a nice to have trait. Charisma. Same thing with charisma. This is something you can develop, okay? So I'll show you my first video and my recent video, and I'll also show you Bedros' first video, not the whole video, but just a little bit of it, and kind of what his recent work looks like, right? And you can see how far everybody's come. So where the creators might be today, it's probably not a good place to compare yourself to if you're starting out now. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So this is like one of my first videos ever, and I'll just give you guys a little sneak peek of this. Okay, why can't I hear?
On a very interesting challenge.
So this is just me teaching coding to people.
Which is going to be, I'm going to go through the entire Code Academy course and try to finish it as fast as I can. And along the way, my goal is to be able to help you guys.
Okay, how exciting was that? Okay, not very exciting, I guess. So let's move on to the next one. And now here's maybe a more recent video that I've done. And this is an ad that we made for a programming course. And we wanted to make it sexy for people. And so this is what this looks like now.
So you want to become...
Okay.
So you want to become a JavaScript developer. Here's a list of facts. 1, I just dropped the best JavaScript course on the planet. That's it.
Wait, warrior?
Let me explain. Who am I? I'm Rafik Kazi. Done a few things. I was making 6 figures as a freelance developer at 21 years old, $1 million in revenue at 25, traveled the world, taught hundreds of thousands of students to code, and my programming courses are ranking #1 on YouTube. So what's in this JavaScript course? Listen up. They're going to be learning the basics of JavaScript. They're going to be learning advanced object-oriented programming, DOM, GitHub, Visual Studio Code, command line, version control, AJAX, JSON, API, ES6. But I know you ain't here for that, buddy. Blackjack, Twitter clone, Google Maps project, $5,700 Upwork project, 50 modules, 30 hours of video content, data science visualization, modern portfolio, how to get a job at Fang, how to profit with JavaScript, and we're gonna build an Iron Man suit. Wait, what? So let's talk results. 1, Rob, freelancer, now traveling with his kids. 2, Afreen, saved their company $20,000. 3, Nazar landed a $110,000 contract. Results? Yeah, we got results. We got a 30-day money back here.
So I'll stop here. Was that better than the last video? Okay.
By the way, guys, pay attention here. He made the most boring thing on the planet, software programming. Sexy. I was like, God damn, he's like the James Bond. Like, if you think you're in a boring industry, like, he just proved that any industry will work. Dude, that was perfect.
Awesome. Yeah. So this was kind of fun to watch, right? I didn't lose your guys' retention. You were able to follow along. And so my point is, it doesn't really matter. Yes.
Come up with like that yourself, or do you have a team to help come up with those supervisors? That's like very theatrical, right? More in like more like a different sales letter.
Very good question. So my friend right here, Frankie, who's holding the camera, it was him and one more friend, and we didn't have a place to rent because we didn't have money to rent. So we were at WeWork, and that WeWork, we weren't even allowed to be there, right? Our card wasn't working. So literally our card wasn't working. So we had figured out like when the patrol, the WeWork patrol, like would walk by and stuff. And so like we figured out at 6 p.m. or something, they would like leave that one area alone for an hour or two. And we're like, this is the fucking time. And it was just us two. And we were like, we got to do this because if we don't, we had no source of new revenue or whatever coming in. And we're like, you know what, let's give this a shot. And we just had a lot of fun doing it. So what team that we had, my video camera person and then another friend, and they were both friends, and we just worked together on it. And we came up with ideas. Okay, I'll show you guys how to kind of come up with more ideas as well along the way. But this one ad, like, it was so life-changing for me at the time because we were like, I'm like living in Burbank, trying to reduce my expenses as much as possible. I'm like, baby, I don't know what's going to happen. To I have my girlfriend out to a dinner, and then all of a sudden, this ad, we were running it on Facebook ads, and all of a sudden, like, I see a sale for $500 for my course, and I'm like, oh, fuck, that's awesome. And I'm like, baby, our dinner just got paid for. And she's like, that's cool. And then the next day we went to eat lunch and I got another sale for like $500. And I'm like, oh my God, our breakfast just got paid for. Now you might be thinking, holy shit, these guys are eating some expensive food. But anyways, like we started making $3,000-$4,000 a day, which if you add that up becomes like $150,000 a month. And this video went on to get 10 million views. I had other people in other niches starting to copy this exact video and make this. And yeah, it was insane. It like blew up my business. And it was all because of the skills that I had learned along the way. Some of you people have much better skills than me at business. And so what I was able to do with this for your business, you could 5, 10x whatever you're currently making, okay? So let me keep moving with this. So charisma, my point is that it could be earned, okay? Here's an example with like one of Bedros' like first videos on his channel, okay? If any of you guys have watched this, you're the real OG.
Hey everybody, this is Bedros Killian, and I want to share something with you. See, just yesterday, I was at the Valerie Waters product launch, and actually Valerie Waters' house.
Right? It's just him sharing about something that had happened, and he talked about the concept of firing clients. But the important thing is, he's still making content. He's doing it about something he still enjoys and loves. Many years later, when you fast forward, now he's really good, right? But if you haven't been doing content for a while, I would just encourage you, don't compare yourself to him now, because it's a journey. And the parts where we kind of suck or we are new, a lot of people don't see that, right? You guys won't see that. And you know, obviously I don't really have to play this new video too much, but like you guys know his style now.
You
is like,
don't have to have this 1.0 version. You don't have to have this victim mentality. You don't have to go.
now you guys can see the delivery is dialed in, right? The pitch is dialed in. It hooks you from the start, and it's like 100 times better, right? Cool. Okay. Moving on. So that's about charisma. Then the next thing is a nice to have trait, not necessary, but is adversity. Have you gone through hard stuff in your life? So a lot of you guys who have gone through something really difficult, well, that's actually pretty amazing for you because you can use that in your content. You know, who here has heard of Andrew Tate? Who here hates Andrew Tate? Likes Andrew Tate? Has no opinion on it? Whatever. Okay, that's fine. Whether you like him, love him, hate him, or have no opinion on him, a lot of what makes him interesting is the hard stuff that he's went through, right? Bedros's content, a lot of what makes it interesting is the hard stories that he's gone through. So use that to your advantage. But still, it's a nice to have. I don't think it's actually a requirement. Now I want to get into things that are actually a requirement. Okay. So here are the traits that you actually need. Without these, I think you will have a lot of trouble actually succeeding. So the number one most important trait is the obvious one, but persist. Don't quit. Now, I want to go into how you don't quit, because that's very nice. It sounds cool. Like, don't quit. Just muster your way through it. Have you guys ever tried a dead hang on a chin-up bar? You eventually fucking quit, right? Like, who here can do 2 hours or 10 hours? Nobody. Like, even if your name is David Goggins, like, you can't do it for 10 hours. So, you can't just brute force everything. It just won't work. So here's how you actually don't quit. And I want to be very specific about this. Here's how you don't quit. Enjoyment. Enjoy the fucking thing that you're doing. And so I was speaking with Bedros about that. So I'll give you guys my own example. You guys saw the brand I built to like 1 million subscribers, Clever Programmer? I didn't enjoy building it for the last 6 years. So guess what's going to happen now? I'm not going to build it anymore. And that kind of sucks. And that made me ask Bedros, I'm like, hey, did I waste all my 20s? Like, why did I build something that I didn't really like? Because it was a programming channel, and I was interested in programming for the first year because I was really into it. But then after that, I became a CEO. I had to manage a team. I had to hire people. I had to run a successful business. I had to make money. I had to learn sales and close clients, English. I had to do copywriting. I had to do everything but coding, the thing that I used to love. And so eventually, I was making content that I knew would get views, but I wouldn't enjoy. So I became a quote-unquote successful channel and made millions of dollars as a result, but eventually I ended up quitting that brand because that's not where my passion lies. And everybody at that time that I would ask for advice would be like, no, keep doing YouTube. Are you stupid? Don't lose YouTube. Don't lose your Clever Programmer brand because you've built it up so long. But if I kept doing the thing that I really enjoyed, I would never quit for even longer. Like that brand, I built it for 7 or 8 years, but I could keep going for 20, 30 years. And so now I'm building my personal brand, Rafik Kazi, where I'm like teaching about YouTube because that's where my passion lies. And so now it's like I can easily keep going because I enjoy it and I believe it every single day. Okay? So you can muster it and you can go through it, but I would just rather your journey is not one of like purely suffering the entire time. Okay? You could suffer enough in a lot of other areas of life. So here, let's find a way that you enjoy and that resonates with you. Cool. So this is what it should look like. So if you see bangers up there, that just is my term of like dropping content that bangs, that does really well. Okay, so that's what I mean by bangers. So like here you have like these video ideas that could go viral and do really well. Here's content that you would love, absolutely love. You would enjoy it so much. Here's the content I want you guys to make if you want to grow a really big brand. That makes sense? So that's your...
What do you mean by bangers again? I was writing
just content that you believe could do really well, could go really viral, or could get lots of views potentially.
What do you mean by love?
Love. Okay, cool. So what I mean by love is that do content that you would really enjoy doing. So don't do content that you would hate doing, that you wouldn't find fun, maybe because it's not authentic, maybe it doesn't resonate with you. Maybe you're purely just doing it for like your client, but you hate talking about this stuff, right? So if you want to build a personal brand, I need you guys to think like 10 years window. What would you do for 10 years? Because I think that's where you can build a really strong, impenetrable, long-term brand. So you have to like love the stuff that you're doing. This part here of bangers, viral videos, and something that could do really fucking well and go crazy, optional. This is optional, okay? This part here is optional. This part here is not optional. This is like, you gotta love it. And I was speaking with Bedros on one of our coaching calls, and he's like, oh yeah, man, when I get into the podcast and I work on it, he goes, it literally feels like I'm having an orgasm. It feels so good working on those videos. So, you know, it should feel good. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Be fucking real. So I'm not going to go too much on this because Bedros already covered it, but be authentic, be vulnerable. Don't be scared to share something that has happened in your past because that makes you more interesting and exciting. And so all those weird weaknesses and stuff, that's good. Share that. Okay, that makes it a lot more fun. Okay, so thing number 1 was telling you all about how to persist. So you persist by enjoying and you persist by loving what you're doing, okay? Number 2, trait that you need is you need to learn and apply fast. So this is what your YouTube journey will look like, okay? Who here has read Atomic Habits by James Clear? Knows about that book? Cool, a bunch of you guys. Just get 1% better every single time. Over time, you're gonna get 37 times better, and that means you're gonna get really fucking good, okay? And your content is gonna get really good, and you're gonna start to get lots of views. So just work on it like a process. Your first 50, 100 videos, I want you to almost expect that I'm not even gonna get views. I'm gonna do it in a way that I find fun, that even if I didn't get any views, I would enjoy. And every single video you do, study it. What did well, what didn't work well, what was boring, then boom, do the next video. But just learn and be a student. If you be a student, you'll grow. That make sense, guys? Yeah. Just apply fast. I mean, you guys are all like super quick learners, fast implementers, so just use that here. All right, so there's creators of all kinds. So you don't have to speak like Bedros to succeed, and you don't have to speak like me to succeed, or Iman Ghazi, or Hamza, or Jordan Peterson, or literally any of these guys, okay? They're awesome. But you have your own style, and that's the style that I need you to find, okay? So like, I'll just give you guys an example just in case you guys don't know any of the creators, but every creator, I just want you to pay attention how they have a different style. Some creators speak fast or maybe with high energy. Some creators are boring, very boring in how they speak and talk. They're like slow and everything is like this and they don't even edit anything. And so here's a quick example.
Is a man who is slowly committing suicide.
Jeffrey has dangerously low testosterone, but he doesn't even know it.
So in order for us to productively talk about AI, to understand what the terms we're actually talking about are.
Guys, you're not gonna learn. You're not gonna learn JavaScript full.
You guys all know Wes Watson?
This course
He's awesome.
has everything.
Do you see psychiatry as fundamentally a study of the human mind?
Say it. Tell the people you're white, bro. This whole fucking time you've been lying, man.
Let me train with them for a week. Now I know what you're thinking.
Everybody has a different style, right? Cool. Okay, let's keep going. One person thought it was cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. So those are the 2 beliefs. I don't know where they went. There we go. These are the 2 beliefs you need to succeed on YouTube. Okay. All right. I'm going to have to move through this a little bit quicker, but here are the 8 laws of YouTube domination. And then after this, I promise we're going to get into the nerdy YouTube stuff. All right. So the first thing is brand is greater than everything. Brand is greater than everything. And here's how you build a brand. In one word, if I had to describe it, is the word give. If you give, you will build a big brand. A lot of people who have successful businesses, oftentimes their videos are shit, is because they're hiding their good stuff only for their clients, like their paying clients. They're hiding all their best tips and tricks only for the paying members. And then they're like, why am I stuck on YouTube? And on YouTube is all these like weird teaser and trailer videos. That's kind of why their YouTube is sucking. So if you get good at giving, you will start to grow. And here's what that looks like. Here's what literally YouTube looks like. You give. Eventually you receive, and you receive bigger. This window might happen over 3 months, 6 months, 5 years, or 10 years. The longer you can give before asking, the bigger you can receive. Does that make sense? Cool. And so that receive might mean, you know, my girlfriend, she like loves how good of a boxer Mike Tyson is, and she calls him like, she wants him to be her brother. And so for her, it would be like if she could have a podcast with Mike Tyson. Or for me, it would be like, oh my God, I could make a lot of money. So for everybody else, it's going to be different, okay? Here are the results of me giving, okay? This is my kind of monetization visualized, but I will go more into the monetization aspect later. But like, this is 7 years of work visualized. Videos I made in 2016 led to me making 200K, and and overall $5 million in revenue. And I built an email list of 500K, and all the while I actually sucked at business because I didn't really like business. And for me, things like high ticket sales or a crazy product were things that I've recently just learned about from being around people like you guys, being at events and learning from people like Bedros. And so if I knew what I knew, if I knew what I know now, that would have a multiple X multiplier on it. And so if you have much better business knowledge than I do, then for you, the results are going to look way bigger than this. Okay? Cool. All right. Question? Yes. Something off the back of YouTube. Yep. So I'll get into monetization later, but like, yeah, so if I could visualize this a little bit. But like, for example, 2017, I sold digital courses. And that did like 200K revenue. And then I sold digital courses for many years, and then I got it to like $1 million in revenue. And then I sold a boot camp, and I was like, oh my God, I've been selling these $400 courses and killing myself and only making 1.2 million. And then I learned that I could sell a $15,000 coding boot camp. And we gave people a crazy guarantee. We're like, hey, if you don't get a job in 6 months of taking this, we'll give you a refund. We'll work with you. And so we crafted a killer offer. We crafted a killer program that helped people and did 1.7 million in revenue. And the work was like 10 times less to do this because the price point was so high. And then we got into sponsorships, which like kind of crushed everything else. But I'll explain more on that later. But does that answer your question? Perfect. Okay, cool. So let's keep going through this. Stay focused. Say no to everything that doesn't build reputation. Because reputation is brand, is YouTube, is podcast. Okay. So these are all synonymous things. So when you think YouTube, don't just think here's another channel that I have. That's the reputation that you have. And I personally think that YouTube is better than a lot of these platforms. So I've grown my Instagram, and I've grown TikTok, and I've grown all these platforms, and I've gotten millions of views on all these platforms. But whenever I saw lots of customers and sales coming through, the biggest ones were always from YouTube. And people would be like, Kazi, I've been looking at your stuff for years. Like, I trust you. I want to buy from you. I trust you. I want to buy from you. And do you guys know why like there's more trust built here than Instagram? Can any of you guys like give me some insight on that? Why is there more trust on one platform than the other?
I think the longer form.
Longer form?
Non-interruption marketing.
Non-interruption, yep. Perfect. So YouTube is, they're watching like Bedros' podcast. We're watching, like, you guys watch Bedros' podcast? Like I watch it. I'll be watching his stuff for 30 minutes or 40 minutes focused. Whereas on Instagram, I might see something from him that hits hard and is like cool beats and cool music, but it's only 30 seconds, 50 seconds. So there's no depth, and then I just scroll to the next video. So if you can win on long form, everything else is easy. Everything else is easy. Short form is like easy to crush if you really focus on it. All right. Number 2 law is like, I need you to have a I don't deserve shit mindset. So a lot of people have a really fucked up entitled mindset when they go into YouTube. So I'll give you a quick story with me and my friend. When we started YouTube, we started the same exact time in the same exact niche of computer programming. When I would get 2 subscribers, I would be so fucking happy. I remember I was upstairs in my house and I was in my underwear and I saw on my laptop that I got 2 subscribers, I couldn't fucking believe it. I was screaming downstairs. I ran downstairs. I called both of my brothers in California, and I'm like, I just got 2 subscribers. And my mom and my dad are like, why is this kid going so crazy? And I'm like, they're 2 human beings from different parts of the world listening to my shit. This is crazy. Like, one day that could be so huge. My friend got 10 subscribers the same day, and he went, what the fuck is this, man? I should have gotten 20. So let me ask you guys this. Over a long period of time, who's probably going to win? He could temporarily work really fucking hard, right? But then eventually, I will be the one having more fun because I'm enjoying it, I'm grateful, and I kept going every single day. I'm like, I got 2 subscribers, crazy, I'm going to work harder now. For him, it was a lot of like, this is not fucking good enough, this is not good enough, it's not good enough. And eventually, he got to multiple thousand subscribers, and then he quit his YouTube channel because it was always pain. So if it triggers pain in your mind all the time, you're not going to want to do something that brings you stress and pain, right? You're going to run away from it. Right? And if everybody here understands profit, right? Profit is income minus expenses, and whatever you're left over is profit, right? Happiness is results minus expectations. So if you can take out the expectations you have of like, that should have been 100 fucking subscribers this day, and just be like, you know what? I deserve 0 subscribers. Like, I'm some random fucking person. Why do I deserve 1 million subscribers? I'm just starting to make my content. You'll start to get really happy because any results will lead you to happiness. Cool. So this will allow you to overachieve and overdeliver. The Magic 70 rule, okay, so this is a concept I call curve of despair. And everybody goes through this curve of despair, okay? And so here's what it looks like. Things suck here until eventually it turns into the valley of success, okay? But you got to earn your way through. Everybody has to pay this price. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what you do. But everybody, every single person goes through this. And so here's Bedros' curve of despair into the valley of success. And these are, and these are kind of like, these are not perfectly factual numbers, but these are rough ideas so you guys can understand, okay? So where we went across and saw his channel and where he really started picking up steam took 6 years and 110 videos. Now, maybe YouTube was probably not his like crazy primary focus, but then once he decided it was primary focus and went all in, crazy success, right? Lex Friedman took him 8 years and 394 videos to really take off. Alex Hormozy took 184 videos and 3.5 years. But the reason why I'm showing this is all you guys see is what? The valley of success, right? We skipped this part. So we all in this room compare ourselves to somebody, right? And something. So if you're gonna compare, because we're human beings and we all compare to the curve of despair then, right? Like compare to where they were at that exact time that you are right now. It's all relative. My brand, 70 videos, 9 months. And if I just keep going through this, and if you look at it, Iman Ghazi, 334 videos, 4.5 years. And so when you look at all of this, it took everybody a lot of time and a lot of work before their channel started to take off. And so I want to just mentally kind of prepare you for, hey, it's going to be hard, but it's worth the effort then, right? Because if it was easy, then everybody could build it, and it would also die overnight. But once you build this lasts a lifetime because it also takes a while to build. Okay, so Magic 70 rule is just simple rule that I have is like, don't complain until 70 videos, okay? Just don't complain until 70 videos. Get better, work on your skills, work on your craft. You're just improving. Yeah, so golden handcuffs paradox is number 4. And this essentially just means this, okay? This is the mindset of, once I get the belt, I'll start training like a world champion. And how does this work out? Will you become a champion with this mindset? No, right? You told me you slept in the cage for 3 months, the Bellator cage, right? And then you eventually became a welterweight champion. Visualization, right? And you actually did the work before you got the result. And so with YouTube, oftentimes people are like, I already have a really nice business that makes a lot of money, Kazi. Like, I don't think I'm going to spend a lot of time here. Well, that's why you're not going to get the fucking results you want, right? And so I want you to enjoy it, and I want you to go all in before you want the results, or just set your expectations differently. Be like, you know what, Kazi, it's okay, I want to go slow, but I also know I'm not going to get the results that fast, okay? Yeah. Okay, cool. I'll fly through this one as well, but this is my brother. He now has a brand called the Cosman, but here's what happened in this golden handcuff story, okay? Does everybody here know what golden handcuffs is? No? So golden handcuffs just means you have something really nice that's stopping you from sometimes doing the thing that you want. Does that make sense? Cool. So with my brother, he had a really nice job that paid him between $200,000 to $300,000, and he was color grading and making videos for people. And so every time we would talk about YouTube, he would get so excited. And he has the charisma, the energy. I knew it would work for him. So I would always tell him, but then he would never really do it. He never wanted to do it. He was like, you know, I want to do it, but I have this nice job, so let me just focus on that. I'm like, okay, cool. One day, he calls me. I pick up the phone. He's heartbroken. I could hear in his voice. He's like, bro, this is so fucking embarrassing. But he goes, all my clients, everybody fired me. He goes, my income just went from like 10, 20K a month to $0. And he goes, literally, I'm going to run out of all the money I have in about 1 month. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. And I'm on the other side. I put it on mute. And I'm like, fuck yeah. Because that was the day I knew he was going to succeed. So I was so fucking happy. It was the happiest day of my life. I unmute myself. And I'm like, dude, fucking so sorry to hear this, man. It's terrible. Let's do that YouTube thing now, yeah? He's like, cool, let's fucking do it. So I'm like, we started working on it. We started growing his brand. We started growing his channel. And a year later, he builds a YouTube channel with 300 something. He's at 350,000 subscribers or something. And he just closed like $2 million in sales for his course. It's crazy, right? I'm not going to take away any of the, he works hard. He gets possessed by what he's doing. And so, yeah, I'm not going to take away any credit for that. He works hard and everything. But we just channeled it on YouTube, and it paid off for him. And so for me, I was happy when he lost all his clients because I knew that was the day he was going to actually succeed on YouTube. Okay, model like a martial artist. So who here has done any type of fighting, boxing, jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, anything like that? Okay, everybody has somewhat, right? When you're in there and the instructor is like, okay, I need you to throw a 1 and a 2. Do you follow him and throw a 1 and a 2? Or do you just go, hiya? Which one do you do? You throw the 1 and 2, right? When it comes to YouTube, oftentimes I see when people start, I love your creativity. I don't want to kill your creativity. And I want you to be a creative person. But I want you to study and model from people who are succeeding. Don't copy their ideas. Don't steal their thoughts. Have your own thoughts. But learn from them. Earn the right to be creative is what I call it. Okay? So if you love Bedros' stuff, sure, you can suck for many years on your own content and then eventually develop your style. But if you love his stuff, understand how he's delivering. Practice that. Or look at the type of content, the ideas that he has and the videos he's making. Could you talk about something similar? And so you could kind of time collapse a 10-year journey into maybe a 1-year journey. Does that make sense? So I want you to kind of understand the power of modeling. I'll give you an example, okay? So model, don't steal. Remember that video you guys saw that you thought that was kind of cool? Right? Here's actually where it comes from. Logan Paul did a video that was called Challenger Games. And it was like an ad that he did to bring people into this big game thing that he was doing. And I love that video. I'm like, that is the coolest fucking video ever. And I always got so hyped when I watched it with my friends. I'm like, man, we should make something like this. And so let me just show you guys this.
Hey, what's good? It's me, Paul Logan. Here's a list of facts. 1, I just dropped the best JavaScript course on the planet.
That's it. You've seen me do athletic shit before. I had that boxing match with the SoundCloud rapper, which, by the way, was a draw, and I'll whoop his ass later this year.
I'm Rafi Kazi, done a few things. I was making 6 figures as a freelance developer at 21 years old, $1 million in revenue at 25, traveled the...
So that video, I really liked. I liked the ideas in it, and I liked his delivery in it. And so I'm like, okay, how could I make it kind of programming related? Then of course, the execution was hard. Like, you're not gonna make a Logan Paul level video, somebody who's been a YouTuber for so many years, overnight. It's gonna take time. But now that I was able to execute it and I put in the work like a student, and I didn't put my ego above my, like, no, I need to be, now that I've learned this and it's brought me a lot of value, now I can take this and bring it into other videos, and they completely feel like my own video, and you'll be like, oh, these are completely unique videos, because I've developed that style, right? This is how fighters develop too. Like Floyd Mayweather didn't always have the shoulder roll, but then once he became a really good fighter, he developed his own style, and now he has that like crazy shoulder roll thing that he does. So develop your own style, but learn to model. If you like Iman Gadzhi, or if you've ever watched his content, like, here's what I would recommend you do. Let's say you like Bedros or Iman Gadzhi or my content, whoever. You literally just go to the channel and you look at some of the videos. You're like, this one is stupid. I don't like this, be a top 1% man. I would want to do this. Cool. Is there something that catches your eye? You're like, oh, maybe like 17 money secrets to your first million. Oh, cool. But my industry is fitness. Like, how could I make it fitness related? Okay, could you try something like 17 secrets to get your first 6-pack? And so now you start getting ideas. So I want to tell you guys, ideas never come out of thin air. Ideas are a combination of multiple ideas. Caleb, you make amazing Instagram content, and I've watched some of your videos. They're funny as fuck. But I bet even some of the ideas you have, maybe something of comedy, you might have been inspired by somebody, right? And so you always have like inspiration that you find, and two ideas combined together make a new idea. That's how new ideas happen, right? How mop was developed because somebody was like, somebody took a rag, and then they took a stick, combined it together, and they're like, I've invented the mop, right? Somebody combined, I don't get internet in the fucking jungle. Okay, I'm gonna take the Wi-Fi stuff and satellite stuff, combine it together and get whatever it's called, Satlink or whatever that Elon Musk has made, and you can get internet even if you're in a jungle because of that. So Starlink, there we go. Perfect, thank you. So all of these are actually combinations. So new ideas are a combination of 2 or more ideas. So it's never a thin air type of thing. So the only way you get new ideas is by looking at stuff, then starting to come up with your own stuff. And eventually you get good at it, and you don't even need to look at other people's stuff. You just have so much of your own ideas that you start to come up with new stuff. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay. Work on each video like it's a $500,000 video. Like, spend time on it. I'm sorry, I have to go through it a little bit faster. Be resourceful. So please don't be this, this white dude that goes to fucking play tennis, is overweight, and like wants to get all the best equipment for his first tennis game that he plays. You don't need that. Don't be this guy, okay? Earn your stuff. So, oh, Kazi, I'm thinking about making my first video, but like, what camera do I need? What fucking lens should I have? You don't need any of that. If you guys know Wes Watson, he has an iPhone that he shoots content with. He props it up literally against a water bottle, and he makes $1 million or something like that per month. So you could do it. You don't need a crazy setup. But if you have the money and you like Bedros' setup, well, then you can recreate it. But I don't want you to think, oh man, I don't have Bedros' setup, I can't succeed on YouTube. Equipment, use whatever you have. It doesn't really matter, but I get this question all the time. So if you insist on breaking the bank, here's what I recommend. And you can, if you care about equipment, you could scan this. If you don't care about equipment, I'm just gonna move past this. Okay, everybody's got it. Got it. Got it. Okay, a few people. Okay, let's go 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Perfect. All right, so that's the equipment stuff, okay? Handled. Length of videos, as long as necessary. Some of my videos that I have are literally 12-hour long videos that have millions of views. I have a 20-hour video on my YouTube, and then I have videos that are 10 minutes long that have millions of views. So the length of videos doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is, did you get your message across? So if I'm trying to teach somebody how to become a developer and a professional JavaScript developer in one video, that might be a 20-hour video because it's a lot that we got to cover. But if I'm talking about, here are the top 5 programming languages you need to learn, 8 minutes. I could do that in 8 to 10 minutes. So as long as it needs to be, I wouldn't worry about like 7-minute videos are better than 20 minutes. That's all like bullshit. And the most important of the 8 laws of YouTube domination is one video away. You're always one video away from literally your entire life changing. I've been in a business where at times where we thought we lost everything, and I made one video and we started making like $150,000 a month. I've made one video and got like 50,000 people on my email list with millions of views. You can turn so many things around. You're only one video away. So if you go in with that attitude and you work on each video like that it could change my life, at some point it probably can. And now let's get into YouTube Vault of Secrets. So this is the tactical portion of YouTube. This is how you win on YouTube or on a podcast platform. Page is turning. I like that. Okay, so YouTube is made up of only 2 things. These are the only 2 things. If you learn these 2 things, you can master YouTube. 1, get them to click. This is the CTR, click-through rate. Scary word. But all it means is just get them to click. 2, get them to watch, which is also called retention. That is it when it comes to YouTube. If you can do these 2 things, you win on YouTube, if you can do them well. Okay, so let's get into get them to click. Damn it. Didn't mean to show that. Fuck. All right, let's try it again. Pretend like you didn't see it. All right. When it comes to a video and getting a click, what's the first thing that comes to your mind that will get somebody to click? Thumbnail, right? Thumbnail and title. And I also used to think that for a really long time. And then what I realized is it actually doesn't have anything to do with thumbnail and title. The thing that gets people to click, the number 1 most important thing, is actually a killer idea. It's the idea that people are after. So I'll give you a random example. Imagine you found a bunny, and that bunny was absolutely fucking annihilating a lion, just killing, just eating that lion. If you captured that on camera and you put it up, how many views do you think that video would get? Pick a number, random number. 1 billion, 400 million, 4 million, something ridiculous, right? I promise you, you would get 50, 500 million or whatever views, even if you had just a black thumbnail with just no text. It would still pull insane viewership. And so to me, it's very clear that the idea is the most important thing. And I'll give you guys more specific examples of ideas and how to execute ideas. But idea is the most important thing. I can't emphasize that enough. Okay? So big ideas lead to big results. I was reading this book 2 days ago. It's called The One Thing. I think the dude's name is Gary Keller. But have any of you guys read The One Thing? Read something? It's a cool book, right? It's a great book. So this thing popped up, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I could use this in my slides. And so here, what is visualized is if you think about something bigger, you will take bigger actions that lead to a bigger outcome. If you think about something smaller, you'll take actions that will lead to a small outcome. But interesting part is it will take the same amount of time and effort. Does that make sense? It'll literally take the same amount of time and effort. So it takes some people the same amount of time and effort to be broke as somebody who makes 1 million or 10 million or $100 million a year. They might not actually work harder than the other person. Same idea applies when it comes to YouTube. If you're working on ideas that might be like, I don't know, why this cloth is black on this table, like something, it's probably like 2 people would care about it. And you could put in crazy editing, the best fucking thumbnail for this and the best everything. And it won't be a good video, right? But if you're like, how this water bottle is is gonna destroy Netflix. People are like, whoa, how's that gonna happen? And so if the idea is big or interesting, that leads to a lot of people actually caring about what you're saying. Okay, so let's keep going. So killer ideas. Then 2, thumbnail. Thumbnails are very interesting. I'm gonna go through this one a little bit faster. But like, what makes a thumbnail clickable? And it should create intrigue, so it should look interesting. Like, why is Netflix collapsing? It should show and not tell. So you could see this and you could just visualize that my YouTube is gonna grow if I watch this video by Ryan Trahan.
Can you define thumbnail?
Oh, thumbnail is the picture that goes on your, whenever you go on YouTube and you're about to like see a video, the thumbnail is the picture that you see for that video before you click. That's all. That's all. Perfect. So thumbnail is the picture part, and then the title is this part. Cool. Show, don't tell. Less is more. So please don't make your thumbnails look like a fucking flyer or like a, yeah, you want to achieve more with less. And so if you're gonna add text, few words, 3 words here, golden. Keep it less words. Because immediately, as soon as the words start to get crazy, people don't want to click. They want to run away from it. And less leads to results. So for example, if you take a look at Bader's, one of his recent videos that is about to hit 2 million views in 2 months, doesn't have a lot of text, Pornhub, red thing. You look at this and you immediately get it, right? You get the idea what the video might be. And so you immediately kind of want to click it. So if you can feel that feeling, probably a good thumbnail. So just, even if you don't remember what all this nerdy stuff we're learning here, just follow your feeling. Do you want to click it? Does it make you like actually click it? Ask some of your friends maybe. Hey, you actually want to click it? If they don't, keep working on it. All right, title is, and then study what's on your YouTube home screen, right? So that's how you become a good student, and that's how you get a lot of results. So go to your YouTube home screen. The stuff that's popping up, that's probably the good stuff. All right, so we're going to skip your turn part because we don't have time for that. So I'm going to show you guys some examples here. So for example, if you're in a niche like me and you want to teach people coding, well, I could do it in a bad or / like good way, like okay way. I can talk about landing your first job. Or I could do it in a killer way where we build Uber Eats in one video. So like I literally show them how to build this in one video, or how to build Instagram in one video. And so people are like, oh shit, I can really do that in 5 hours? And I'm like, yeah. And then they follow along and then they leave with an Instagram of their own. They're like, that's cool. If you want to teach leg workouts, here's a bad example. Here's your video and thumbnail, right? I'm going to talk about hip mobility and routine, and the video is called Hip Mobility and Routine, and you're like, there's no fucking way they can miss it because I say it in my thumbnail and I say it in the title, but the dude is sitting at 26 views, right? So this is not that great of a thumbnail. But here's a better version of it. Same concept, teaching leg workouts, okay? The ultimate leg workout for mass, unreal. You can see his veins are like popping out, like his quads are flexing, he's squatting, he's in action. You can tell if I'm gonna click it, I'm gonna get some more real insights. But now here's a killer version. Mike Tyson's leg workout. Go from this to this. So now you guys see how the packaging is so much better, but for the same idea. And this pulled 251,000 views. And the other one pulled 26 views. And the amount of effort in editing is about the same. So pick a bigger idea. It'll do better. Okay? Here's other examples I have for you. So, okay, interviewing. So like I interviewed Justin Kan. Do you guys know who Justin Kan is? Anybody? He's a co-founder of Twitch. Have you guys heard of a platform called Twitch? He sold it for $900 something million. I interviewed him for this video. This video got like 5,000 views. Nobody cared. It's an okay format to like bring somebody and interview them. It's cool, but that's kind of about it. But then here's a killer way of doing the same interview style. I did a video. I asked developers how much money they make. And it's like, I'm somewhere and I'm like, hey, how much money do you make? Blah, blah, blah. And then I asked them some questions. How much money do you make? And when you actually watch this video, it's much more entertaining than the other one. The other one bores you, and this one is much more interesting. So this is a packaging that makes it killer. Oops, the wrong way. Bedros sent me a podcast, and we were going to do a title of like how to achieve self-mastery. But then I'm like, okay, who is this video for? It's for people who need to learn self-mastery, right? But those people don't know the word self-mastery. And the people who do probably don't need to achieve it. So how do we make this video really fucking clickable? Because I thought if it was with this title and we shipped it, it'd probably get like 50,000 views and he wouldn't be able to impact the real people he needed to actually help. So we're like, okay, what could we do? How do we make it interesting? How do we make it exciting? How do we make it more intriguing? I mean, he's talking about self-mastery. Well, we hide this because nobody knows what this is. The people who we need to help actually don't know what this is. So we hide it. So I'm like, okay, let's remove this. Then what do? Well, they probably care about money, right? Well, let's fuck with their heads a little bit. So watch what we did. Came up with a killer idea. We're like, fuck money. Master this first. Everybody gets money and understands it. But fuck money. What? Bedros, I thought you wanted me to make money. Like, that's what your whole thing is about. Master this. What is this thing? Why is this thing better than money? Oh, I gotta click. Do you feel the difference between this and this? Like, you need to click this, and the other one is like, you know, if I really want to improve myself, I should watch a Bedros video. You want it to be like this. You want it to feel like you want it to feel like people are eating hot Cheetos, but then give them the vegetables in the content, right? Give them the healthy stuff in the content. So, yeah. If you're teaching head movements or boxing, like this is how people's like podcasts are a lot of times. Like, benefits of boxing, the podcast thing, the number. And maybe you're talking about boxing or talking about head movements. Like, in my opinion, it's like bad. You could do it, but I think it's like not that good. Here's a good way of doing it. Okay, head movement drill in boxing, 14,000 views. The other one had a lot less views. This is much more interesting now because he's showing you the head movements and drills. But how do you package this into a killer idea? If you do this right, if you package this right, the same video that got 14,000 views should get 3 million views. And here's what that looks like. Here's the killer packaging of it. How to see punches coming in a street fight. You thought that? Bro, killer idea. Oh, that's killer. It's game over if you actually do that. I've been trying to tell my girlfriend to do that so many times. She's like, I don't want to get knocked out by a random person. It'd be embarrassing. I'm like, fuck, you should do it. But that's just because so look at the views here, 4 million views. Literally same idea, head movements, power of head movements, why you should do head movements. But now everybody cares because everybody gets street fighting. You might not get boxing head movement drill. You're like, this is for nerds. What is this? I don't care. You might see this and you're like, oh shit, like that girl really tried to hit me the other day. I got to fucking learn this. I got to defend myself. So, yeah, packaging, killer. By the way, Joan, you can tell me at any point to shut up and I will. Okay, yes.
So with the headlines for videos, are you attaching to situations that they're already aware of or what's in their head?
Yes. Yes, talk about the thing they're already aware of, you know? Like, my dad could never get through to me because he's like, son, you need to save money and you need to do this. And I never resonated with him. But if he was like, here's how you get a hot-ass girlfriend and a fucking Lamborghini, you got to like start saving on Starbucks. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So you got to start with a conversation that's already there. Okay, number 2 is get them to watch. Retention. Oh, boy. Okay, so hooks. How much time do I have? Do you have 30 seconds? 4 minutes? Okay, 4 minutes. Got it. Okay. So a hook, have a good hook. Okay. So I want to show you these examples, but I don't have time. But a hook, just a good hook. Okay. So I'll give you a live example. So like, you know, if you're like, hey, welcome to my podcast. It's podcast number 385. I'm your host, David Fisher. Nobody cares. You're wasting everybody's fucking time. But if you start with financial freedom is a fucking lie. Here's what the top 1% of the people aren't telling you. Let me show you how you can make millions and how it can change your life like it has for my clients. And let me play this presentation for you. It's like, whoa, like you're kind of hooked. And so start it off with something that hooks you. If you study even Bedros' podcast, they always put the hook at the start. So it doesn't start with like, hey, welcome to my podcast, and then like blah, blah, blah. Like you'll probably skip past it. But if he starts with a hook, he hooks you. Okay, stakes. We'll skip past this. This is a more complicated concept. Okay, cool. Delivery energy. So this is, you know, if you're speaking, Bedros has like up and down energy where he's talking about things and it makes it interesting and exciting and it makes you pay attention. If you're just being monotonous, it's not going to be exciting. So Bedros does it well. Or if you look at Wes Watson, where's like, oh, like you're excited when you're watching his content. I'm like, I'm feeling something. I don't know what it is. Ah! So bring that. Making content that's deep or insightful or thought-provoking or curiosity-inducing. It's lots of words, but they just mean the same thing. Depth. If you can also make content that has depth. So Alex Hormozy, for example, one of his biggest, most popular videos is literally just a presentation, a boring-ass presentation, but there's depth of content. It's insightful. Got like 1 million views. It's still one of his best performing videos, even above like all the other well-edited, fast-paced videos. So like you can have slow speaking videos with no editing. If the content is really valuable, it could crush. And why I wrote $500,000 there is I'm like, if I paid you $500,000 for each video, how hard would you work? So that's the attitude I want you to have on each video that you do. Frameworks and packaging. So if I have a thought, I'm like, oh, I should tell people about making money with ChatGPT. Packaged, it would be 4 ways ChatGPT can make you $10,000. So packaging makes things more interesting. And blah, 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 story editing and pacing, okay? But for now, where you guys are, if you're starting your podcast or you're starting your YouTube journey, I just want you to focus on all this stuff is for later in your journey. In the start, I just want you to have fun, make mistakes, but make content. Like that's it. This is like intermediate stuff. Like once you get to video 20 or 30, start working on this. But I've seen so many people, my friends or my girlfriend, quit because I would start telling them about this stuff and they're like, this is way too much, it's crazy. You don't need all of that. Just start with simple stuff which you have. Let's just jump into monetization, and I just want to finish this part off because I think this is going to be a very valuable piece into like how YouTube equals money. Okay, that's the dot that I want to connect for you guys. All right, so there are 4 ways you can make money from YouTube. You can monetize. One of the ways is AdSense. So everybody, okay, raise your hands if you know AdSense. What that means. Cool. Most of you know what it means. Some of you might not. It's just when you have a video and somebody runs ads on your videos. So this is where you just make videos and you make money off of them. Usually AdSense pays you very little, depending on what your niche is. So for example, if you're making videos on how to make money online or e-commerce, you might make a lot of money. And if you're talking about something else, you might make a lot less money. So my coding channel on 1 million views will pay me $1,000. But an e-commerce channel on the same 1 million views, YouTube will pay them $80,000. So there's a big difference there. So AdSense is you dropping videos on YouTube and YouTube just paying you for those videos. Cool? Okay. The second way you could make money with YouTube are sponsorships. Some people in here who spoke and you guys have sponsorship. Raise your hands if any of you have sponsorships. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 people. Good. Awesome. And so with sponsorships, you can be making 5, 10, 15K a month, whatever it may be. I'll show you guys. For me, sponsorships, I used to hate sponsorships, and I'm like, sponsorships suck, and I will never do them, and I'll only like sell my own products and stuff. But sponsorships are pretty good, and they can lead to a lot of revenue. So like for me, when I kind of started going crazy into sponsorships, it led to like $1.5 million in 3 months. And so I wouldn't like ignore sponsorships, because sometimes people tend to just ignore them. The third one is service. So you can sell a service. So what that basically means, a service could be an agency that you have, or it could be coaching, or any type of product or whatever that you might sell, you know? So if you're a piano instructor or you're an MMA fighter or whatever, you could sell your services based off of this. Or if you have a, I think some people have like a Taekwondo gym. You have a gym as well, right? Taekwondo gym, yeah? Okay, you have a gym as well. And so I would use YouTube to grow the fuck out of my gym, honestly. Like Henry Gracie, you guys familiar with him? He's like makes all these fun videos where he's giving valuable advice on how to become a better at jiu-jitsu. I used to watch all his stuff. And then I'm like, I want to learn from the Gracies. I want to like go to that gym or go to those gyms. Eddie Bravo, right? He's fucking awesome. And I would watch all their jiu-jitsu tournaments that would happen online. And so then I got my membership to 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. Like you could explode your YouTube brand off of this. So yeah, service, agency, coaching, anything else that goes there. And then 4 is products. So products is you could have physical products or digital products. So Few Will Hunt, I think the co-founder, Few Will Hunt, yep. Yeah, so like I think YouTube would be a beautiful vehicle to grow physical sales like crazy. And then if you have digital products like I did with the programming course, for example, I sold it through digital, and then there's no fulfillment required. It's all kind of easy. Everything is online, so it's very nice. And so that also led to lots of money for me. And so my point to you is, when you think of YouTube, don't just think, I think sometimes people think you can only monetize with AdSense, and that's not really true. You can monetize in many different ways, and you could build out backends as deep as you want. Remember, Alex Hormozi's backend is very deep, where he like actually takes ownership, a minority or majority in a company. And so you can go in many different directions with this. Okay, awesome.
At this point, the presentation part is officially over. That was the entire presentation. But now I'm leaving the next 25 minutes of my workshop for a very specific reason for you to watch. I need you to actively engage at this point. And so we're going to workshop ideas. I'm going to do it with them, but I need you to also jump in and workshop ideas. So when I give them time to come up with ideas, I need you to take that time and write down ideas. Ultimately, what I want to leave you with when you leave this is you walk away with one idea that you can implement next week. So I'm going to walk them through that exercise. I need you to do that exercise. And then I'm going to ask them to get an accountability partner. And I'm going to need you to get an accountability partner as well at that time. So these next 20 minutes will actually be really valuable. Make sure to sit around and ideate and come up with ideas. Brainstorm as many as you can and do the exercises, because otherwise, outside of that, what did you watch this for? It's just a waste of your time otherwise, right? So I want you to walk away leaving with something practical and tangible. So if you've watched it so far, don't walk away right now. It'll be a waste of time. Work on these ideas with me, and I promise we'll get your YouTube blowing up. Okay, so work through this. Let's go.
So I think with monetization, we're done. Now here's what I wanted to do. So we have a little bit of time, and I was talking with my friend Frankie while we were driving around, and I'm like, presentation was good. I enjoyed it. I think it was entertaining for you guys, but there was something missing. And I think all that theory and information and graphs are good, but it's not actually practically useful in any way or shape. And so we're going to make it very real, and we're going to make it practical for you guys. Cool? All right, so here's what it's going to look like. I would like you guys to Just give me a show of hands of people who would like to grow their own brand through YouTube or podcasts, just so I could see. Okay, pretty much every single person in here. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I want everybody to have one video idea that you shoot next week. Oh, it doesn't have to be right now. That would be awesome, though. That would be cool. Like one person, go ahead. Just one at a time. So we'll do one idea that you'll shoot next week, okay? And what we'll do is, this is what's going to make it kind of really interesting, is whoever is one person next to you will be your accountability buddy, okay? So you guys will have to hold each other accountable for this and check in with each other that you've done this video. So they're either sitting to your right or your left, but everybody's going to have one accountability partner, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is let's come up with a video idea, and then what I'm going to need you to do is exchange information with your partner so that you guys hold each other accountable. Sounds good, guys? Yes? Okay, beautiful. All right, so for video ideas, here's what I want you to do. Take the next, let's say, 3 minutes and just brainstorm ideas. And let me give you guys a secret to coming up with good ideas. Good ideas, so I heard this quote and it's really good. There's no such thing as a bad idea. There are only good ideas or ideas that lead to good ideas. So the secret to having good ideas is you have lots of like terrible ideas, lots of them, like 100 of them, and then you get rid of like 95, and then you have like 5 good ones, okay? So this is not the time you want to filter. This is a time anything that comes to your mind, you want to write. So when I tell you guys, when I say the timer started, when you guys start, I don't want you guys to lift up that pen. Just keep flowing whatever is coming to your mind, and then we'll workshop it together, and then everybody will have one idea picked out. Yes? Yes. Okay, cool. So let's start the timer now. Any ideas?
I do a show with my kids each week, and it's always me leading the show, and they come up with some ideas, but it's going to be a show where they lead it and interview me. They come up with all the questions about what they want to know about me, what they want to, how did I do this, how to deal with this as a kid, them leading the show and interviewing me on my life and business and everything.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a fun idea. That's a dope idea, especially if it's coming from their angle, because like not a lot of people get to see that, right? So I love that idea. That is awesome. Any other ideas you guys want to share that you guys have? Would love to hear ideas, or I'll just probably start calling on you guys. Hi.
One of mine was why chivalry isn't dead.
Beautiful. Why chivalry isn't dead. Okay. Great. Other ideas?
How to have confidence in approaching a woman.
Beautiful. That is awesome. And so now, if we workshop some of these together, you could do it in multiple ways. So do it however you want. I'm just going to throw out some suggestions out there, right? If you do it where you're talking about it, that's pretty good. But what other ways could you make it where it feels like you're showing instead of telling? Actually go do it. Yeah. But that's much harder, right? And not a lot of people want to do that. But if you do that, then that kind of potentially makes it a killer video. And then you could break it down. Oh, this is what I did to approach. This is what I did to have a conversation. This is what I did. Beautiful. Awesome. Other people, ideas. Would love to hear them. Yes?
Ways I know that you're not serious about your fat loss.
Ways I know you're not serious about your fat loss.
You're not serious.
Okay, beautiful. I love that. And so that's great. And if you maybe figure out the list of different things, so you could be like 7 signs you're not serious about fat loss, right? Or 7 signs you'll never be skinny again. I don't know, something random. But like idea is the same, and then maybe packaging it a little bit differently. I love that, so that's great. Idea?
How to get your kids to practice at home. Like
practice
I teach
what?
Martial arts. So like our show kind of goes around martial arts. So like how to get your kids to actually practice at home.
Okay, so can we put the specific martial art in the title?
Sure. How to get your kids to practice Taekwondo at home.
Beautiful. Nice. I love that. And how do you plan to show it, or you're going to talk about it?
Well, when you started bringing up like show, like I mean, how we get Ryder to do it. Ryder's our son, so
Mhm.
we get him to practice at home. You're telling me he has to. No, but
Yeah.
like we should probably do like a demonstration of like what we do, like how we actually get him to do it, because he's at the school lots, so he always has to practice there.
Yeah.
Does he also go practice? He's doing it right now on vacation. Like my wife and kids are here. They're at the hotel. Last night they were practicing because it was just part of the discipline that we.
Oh, that is great.
So, like, kind of going into that and how we've done that with him.
Yep. So if you can tell it, that's really good. If you could show it, even better. Okay. So don't force yourself. Like, let's just say you don't have time and you can't do any of the other stuff. I'd rather you still make it in a way that's enjoyable, right? But if you want it to be like, how could I make it the best I could? I would go the way of like, how could we show it? Okay.
You could always do a second one later on.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So my main goal for you guys, the number one thing out of everything we went over, if you forgot everything, I would just want you to leave with, how could I make content and enjoy the process? If you could just do that, you'll figure everything else out later. Like, you'll figure out the rest later. Yes, Lyman.
Thinking of like a challenge, kind of like an accountability challenge.
Yes.
10 things that I would, to pick one thing or that would make me a better man, and then kind of talk about me first, lead the pack, rather than just, because it makes me vulnerable and put it out there, let people know, all right, I'm struggling with this, but this is what I want to work on, so it's a challenge of the week for me.
Yep.
And then I'll do like a thing where like each day I show what I'm doing.
Yep.
At the school, and how I'm working on that to try to fix that one thing. What's the challenge for?
That's awesome.
For you, first for everyone to kind of put in an accountability challenge.
Nice. Okay, so this has, and you're gonna show some parts of it too, like the actual challenges that you're doing, or the challenge that you're doing. Yeah. Okay, good, beautiful. I love that. Any other ideas? I would love to hear. Yes.
I was thinking more like why everyone hates CrossFit.
That's a good one.
I know.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I can tell everybody why you all hate CrossFit.
Damn. Yeah. I did some of CrossFit. It's just really hard for me. I was like, fuck, man, it's tough. Yeah, I'm like, I'd stick to Muay Thai. Yeah. They're clean and jerks, huh? They're not the best. So nice. If you want to roast something and you feel like a hatred towards something, that's great. Use that. 7 things I hate about CrossFit, or whatever it may be, right? So you can lean into that. That's okay. But as long as content you believe in and you would enjoy, go for it. Other ideas? I'm gonna hear. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
It would be more so to flip it and try and get people to actually love it. That would be the point of it.
I see. Okay. So if you.
Yeah, I'm a CrossFit gym.
So you could go from that negative angle.
Yeah.
And then I guess get them in, because I think that's the approach you're trying to take, where you're trying to tap into what's.
Yeah, try and change people's perspective of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
So great. So you could have somebody like me who's heard that they're clean and jerks are not the best, and you could tap into something negatively. So a person like me who has a skeptical view of CrossFit because of other people, what they've told me, and I might click on it and I might be like, wait, actually, no, it's actually pretty fucking good. And so then you can actually change their mind about it. So I love that idea of the content. And you're planning to share like your insights on it, or you're planning to show some exercises? How are you planning to go about it?
So I would like to try and convert the negative to a positive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about the approach. Like, people think they have to be fit to start CrossFit.
Yeah.
So I would like to show how someone starts with like a PVC pipe and ends up with a barbell. Because everyone should be starting right, and if they start right, they'll actually finish properly. So it'd be cool to show like a fundamental process of it as a beginner.
Oh, cool.
And then right next to them have an experienced person that's been doing it for years.
Who's the most famous person in CrossFit?
Tia Claire Toomey.
Say it again.
Tia Claire. She's like a.
T-Click?
Tia Claire. She's like won
Tia Claire.
CrossFit Games like 7 times.
So a lot of people know her, right?
Yeah.
So what if you're like how Tia Claire went from beginner to like a professional CrossFit?
She's even like pregnant and still doing CrossFit. So.
That's insane. Yeah. That's crazy. Wow. I just looked over at my friend because his girlfriend is pregnant. They're having a kid. 30 days left. Okay, cool. Anyways, it's not about him. But anyways.
So maybe have a beginner and Everybody starts here with the goal to end here.
Yeah. So if you want to tap in, because if as long as your messaging is there, then we can try to package it in different ways. So you could go, this is why I hate CrossFit, or this is why people hate CrossFit. Or you could go with, here's how Tia Claire went from this to this. And literally it's like her with the, I don't know what you said, pipe. And then the other side, she's with a barbell, and it's like snatching 100 and something pounds over her head or something. And so you could see that in the thumbnail. You're like, yes, I want to know how this person did it. But then it's infused with your thoughts, and maybe you're sharing her. And so that way, you're tapping into something people already know about and still getting to talk about what you want.
Can I ask a question on that?
Yes.
So, like, speaking on that, but, like, is there, I've never, like, a strategy, I don't know if this is more of a, like, you know, like what Frank Kern gets wrong about selling high ticket.
Oh, love that.
You know, like.
That is great.
I mean, like, what's the dude's name in MMA or UFC who just became famous with his little, like, Facebook show? And he just put a different name in every show. That was like, why Logan Paul's a bitch.
Oh, shit.
He would just say, like, you know, you know, and then he would always make Logan Paul sound good by the end of it.
Yes.
But he, like,
that's funny.
They're called trolling.
Yep.
Do you guys is that like a specific strategy that some guys will do? Like, here's all Valuetainment's one of the best podcasts out there. And
yep.
I know Bedros been on it, but like, even like so if Bedros wanted to win some of that audience, like talking about Patrick Bet-David.
Yeah,
like,
he could.
Hijack some of that.
And so here's what I would say, right? Now you also have to think about, like, at the end of the day, it is also real life, and it is your very real reputation, because I think sometimes people go into the YouTube world and they're like almost feeling like it's not them anymore. And so they'll shit on somebody, but then at some point meet them at an event and be looking at them eye to eye, shaking their hand. They're like, oh, fuck, this is awkward. And so, you know, one thing that Bedros, for example, is very mindful of is he'll be like, no, I don't want to make content that will, like, put other people down. And sometimes he would not even want anything as a B-roll that could make somebody look bad, for example.
So, I mean, flip it though, like what I was trying to
do it good. Perfect. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, I think that is great. So, like, I'm doing a couple of videos like how Alex Hormozy broke the YouTube algorithm. So I've already shot that video. I've already done an insane amount of research. It's like beautiful video. We're editing it for a while, and then we're going to release it at some point. But, like, yeah, it's a lot of people who know about Alex Hormozy are going to watch it, but then they're going to get to see my side of breaking down how he did it. So you can raise them up. Yes. Perfect. Mm-hmm. That's
waking up early. It's like I have to wake up at 2:45 in the morning. Like, do you really need to wake up that early? Like, or are you
right.
Like just challenging that?
I love that. That's perfect. Ashley, were you gonna add something?
Yeah, I think I have my answer, but like putting a brand in, like why Weight Watchers doesn't work would probably not be good if I truly believe it doesn't really work.
Do you not believe it works? Do you not? Are you against? Does that cross like a moral line for you if you mentioned that or talked about it?
Well, it's putting a brand down. I could just talk about the concept of it.
You don't have to say a negative thing then. Yeah, if you don't like it, because again, it's your channel. So, like, I want you to be able to sleep at night, you know? If you make content and you're like, fuck, I wish I didn't say that, you know? You could then, if you don't like putting that brand down, that's okay, because I don't like doing that either. So I never make content that, like, puts anybody down. I'll instead make content on, like, why this other thing really works that other people might really like, you know? So I would, yeah, like, if that doesn't resonate with you, don't do that. That's what I would say. Any other ideas? I want to hear, like, one or two more ideas that you guys have had that you want to share. Yes?
No college, what to do.
No college, what to do. So so you could phrase it in many different ways. Like, I never went to college, what should I do? Right? That's awesome. What are you planning to talk about in there?
Alternative routes other than college that are more beneficial.
Awesome.
For the person.
And beneficial as in, like, what type of benefit? Money benefit? Health benefit?
All of the above.
All of the above. Okay. So now you could think about it and go multiple angles, right? So I don't know your situation, but you could be like, how I made $1 million without going to college, or how I became successful without going to college, or how I became XYZ without going to college. So you could do that without going to college. So I'll give you an example. I did a video. It was called Top 5. I mean, it's a long-ass title, but it got 2 million views, so it worked. But it was like top 5 programming languages to learn to get a job without needing a college degree. It's like massive title. But like it worked for people because they were like, oh, I can get a result without going to college. Cool. So if you could maybe think like put a result, but without the thing to think that they need, it was a good framework. How to lose this much fat without doing this thing that you hate. I mean, that's like probably a common thing that people would think about. So I would try working with the packaging of that a little bit more to make it punchier. But you're onto something, so that's very good. Okay, one or two last one. Yes.
How a Paris street fight helped me scale to 7 figures.
How a power street?
Paris street.
Holy shit.
Helped me scale to 7
So tell me what happened.
So I got knocked out cold in Paris.
Shit.
In a street fight. This was pre-BJJ, obviously. I would think that I would have handled myself a little better. But anyway, I got knocked out.
Point out this is pre-BJJ.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I got knocked out. I got knocked out cold, but I had the rest of the trip, so I had to get up. I was concussed, but I still had a blast on the rest of the trip. Picked myself up off the ground. Had an amazing experience. So draw a parallel between that and entrepreneurship. How you're going to get like kicked in the gut, kicked in the teeth, but don't quit, keep going, because pain is part of the process.
Love it. Okay, beautiful, awesome. So that's a great video. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to workshop it. I'm trying to come up with alternative ideas, but I like the overall idea. I like the idea of it. That would be a fun video to watch. And so here's one thing I want to add. One of the things I realized about like what makes videos and shorts really good, even with Bedros when we work on this, is stories. So if you can add in stories, even if let's say that YouTube video doesn't work, quote unquote, that as a story can work really well. Because people can find that story where like this guy came in and just broke my teeth or like did this. But it was pre-BJJ. And then like an editor can make it funny, you know? Yeah, so that's a good one. Yeah, awesome. Do that one. Yep.
One of the others I wrote was like a technique of the week.
Yeah.
Maybe I could rewrite that as like how to not get knocked out in Paris.
I love that. Yeah, how not to get knocked down. Or you could make it even wider appeal. So you could go like how not to get beat in a jiu-jitsu fight, you know, or like how not to get beat in a street fight.
Yeah, like a street self-defense.
Yeah.
Tactic or move or something.
Exactly. And then you could make it really wide, so it has a wide, massive appeal, but you can still teach the technique that you want to teach. So an example of this could be like, here's how to throw a left jab. That's awesome. That's really good. But if you package it like how to knock anybody out in the street in 7 seconds or less, now you're like, whoa, what is this thing? And you can still teach the boxing concepts in there or taekwondo concepts in there, whatever you want, right? Okay.
I think one thing I like to know, Jacob, did you do like a boot camp where lesbians beat us up? The same thing. Like all you gotta do is pick up lesbians and get beat up by ourselves.
That would get a lot of views.
I think we can do one right now.
Yeah, what was were you gonna go somewhere with that?
No, that was the joke.
Oh. Yeah, shit.
That wasn't a question. I just had to do a joke.
Nice. I love it. Yes.
Real quick, so let's say you have a lot of thumbnails that are like 3 steps to do this, 4 steps to, or 4 steps to do this, and you rework the title.
Yeah.
Like, let's say rather than like 4 steps to avoid anxiety. Right?
Yep.
And you rework it to get rid of your anxiety in 15 minutes or 10 minutes a day.
Yes.
Does it lose authenticity if the video starts with them saying, here are 4 steps? Like if it's that drastically different from the title you worked on the thumbnail, do you lose authenticity?
I mean, if it's not delivering on the promise of the video, yeah, that's bad.
It's still related, you know what I mean?
If it
Yeah.
Quite honestly, but I know what you're saying. Like in that,
Yeah.
that particular example, I would say it's totally good to go.
Yeah. As long as, yeah, it's delivering on the overall promise, then you're good. The only thing I would worry about is if it's not delivering on the promise, or it's like you're not talking about anxiety in that video at all. That would be the only, concern. But yeah, awesome. Okay, cool. So do you guys have one video idea that you can shoot next week? Yes or no? Raise your hands if you got one video idea you can shoot next week. Fantastic. Have you exchanged information with the partner next to you? Raise your hands if you have. Okay, perfect. Get one partner, share information with them so they can hold you accountable. Take like 2 minutes at this. Yeah, I feel good about giving them an exercise.
You should exchange numbers the first time. It was so funny because like everybody started murmuring and shit.
Oh yeah. I'm getting nervous. Okay, you guys good here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you guys are good?
Yep.
Holding each other accountable, beautiful. You guys good? Nice. You guys holding each other accountable, beautiful, okay. You guys accountability partner? Fuck yeah. You guys holding each other accountable? Beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful, okay. You guys holding each other accountable?
Yes.
Okay, nice.
One and done. Boom, finish.
Nice. You guys holding each other accountable?
Yes.
Nice, beautiful. Accountable. You guys got an accountability thing going here?
Yes, we're great.
Yes. Beautiful. Okay, guys. And with that said, hi guys. Yo! Awesome. So with that said, guys, this was me, Kazi. My presentation has essentially come to an end. I want to leave you with the quote with Bedros: revenue feeds the ego, profit feeds the family. So when you're doing YouTube and monetizing it, focus on the thing that makes you profitable while you grow your brand. And if you want me to grow your YouTube, you can hit me up here, or you can just follow me. This is my Instagram. Okay, it's my Instagram. With that said, I'm going to give it away to Bedros. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you.